As of March 23, 2022, we will no longer receive ad revenue for any video on this channel, even though YouTube still sells advertising on it. The reason, as we've been told, is because we are a channel that presents historical content as opposed to original content. We refuse to be blacked out. We need your support. Please buy Real Black merchandise from the Real Black store, make a donation through PayPal or Cash App, or by joining our Patreon so that we can have the resources necessary to keep the channel growing. Please join our mailing list by sending an email to realblackinc@live.com and follow us on social media @realblack so that you can stay informed of future projects created outside of this platform. Real Black 2 is our backup YouTube channel that carries new original content plus classics from the Real Black Vault that will be monetized. We ask that you also subscribe there. Hey everybody, it's Mike, and I am with...
What's up, Mike? What's up, everybody? It's Eric. We're back. I'm back with Mike again. Kind enough to have me back and talk whatever we're going to talk tonight. I see people talking about...
Before we get into the movies, people can definitely join us on
Q-Man music.
People can definitely join us online. Welcome everybody. It's Monday night again. We're trying to stay consistent with doing live streams on Monday at 8 Eastern time to check in with people. We had a good one last week, and we're back again to talk about Black films. I see the chat is filling up with titles of movies.
Soldier Story. That was oh yeah, you guys want to talk. Who? Dolomite, thanks for shouting out Drop Squad, brother.
Oh, Vashon. Yeah, I just mailed off your button pack. Vashon is a Patreon member. I should mention.
Hey, Mike, let's show everybody. Y'all see my my Real Black, my Real Black. Don't mind my messy background here. My Real Black sweatshirt.
Oh, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks it's nice.
How's the printing? Like the light's hitting mine a little more than yours. It's the same quality print though. This is the T-shirt.
It's very good. It's very good quality print, and the logo really stands out on the shirt.
Thank you.
Guys, this is some good swag right here.
You know, you can get that.
Some people want you to support, and this stuff is not really all that fly, right, y'all? You might not wear it when you after you get it. You just try to be supportive, but this right here, you're gonna rock it.
This is the iconic, and then you got the hat. Shop.realblack.com. Yeah, so please.
Y'all are talking to movies.
Please check that out. Vashon has got lists. People are just putting lists and lists and lists of films. This chat's moving very, very quickly. But we're here to talk about Black movies. But before we do that, how was your week?
Mine? It was cool. You know, y'all know cannabis is legal here in Jersey, recreational cannabis. I just wanted the experience to observe and go in a store where, you know, they're selling it.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. So they have dispensaries, and is it sort of like, I've been to one in Vegas, so they have like a bud tender that takes care of your order, and
you know, they all look like a Apple store. You know, they all take that kind of approach. 5 Heartbeats, yeah, that was a good one. I'm sorry, I'm reading everybody's chat talking about the movies.
Oh, okay.
What you laughing at? Yeah, it was funny. Extra Black, Mike. That was Mike Ralph line in the movie. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of us, right?
Drop Squad. Okay, well, we can get into it. So you checked out the dispensary. Now this is legal.
Let's do it again uptown Saturday night. Yep. Yes, I did, and it was a very nice, interesting experience. You know. Okay. You know, yeah,
that's good.
But my cousin was up here, and he lives in another state where it's not legal, so he wanted to check that out. You know, trip out.
That's cool. Yeah, I've got to make my way to New Jersey at some point. But there's right now, my understanding is there's only 13 dispensaries in the entire state. I don't know how are they handling all that business. I mean, it's got to be a lineup.
Be handling it pretty good to me, buddy.
What's the line
lines? They have lines and stuff. People were actually in line at 6 in the morning waiting for the stores open. I thought that was a little bit much, but you know, people wanted to be a part of history, so right on.
It's sort of like a video game or something like that.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Like waiting for your new video game or something.
Yeah, the new Apple Watch or MacBook or whatever, iPhone. Yeah, it was kind of like that approach that people had. So
wow, but the line moved quick. That's the main thing.
the line was moving quick where I went in Elizabeth. So
okay, yeah, I saw Chris Rock on Thursday, comedy show.
How was it?
He's got a great act. He's still working out some of the kinks. You know, the special premiere later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on a world tour. So he was in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, telling jokes, and we got to go backstage for a minute.
Oh, that was cool.
Take some pictures. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I've known him 30-something years. You know,
nice.
So almost as long as since I've met you. You know,
really was that long ago we met each other? Wow.
I met you around the same time I met Chris. Maybe a little bit later. Maybe a year later.
In the 90s, right?
Like 1990, yeah.
Yeah. Always outnumbered. Yeah, that was good too, Dolomite.
Well, people are leaving their things. So, but you know, Chris is in good spirits. He's telling jokes. He's funny. Go see him.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Linda, that was the first rated R movie I ever saw. We had a babysitter.
Oh, people are jumping the gun. Nobody wants to come on camera though, and give their
Malcolm
list.
X, yeah, that was I got to tell you some stories about Malcolm X also.
All right, so let's ignore the chat for a second. Just talk about our own favorite Black movies. I mean, for me, I guess I can't talk about my favorite Black movies without talking about my love of movies in the first place. Like, you know, I came up. I was born in '69, so my coming of age, they stopped making Black films for about 10 years, from like 1978 when The Wiz came out to like Color Purple or something like that. There were virtually no Black films. Soldier Story.
Yeah,
was about it. But for my
and then School Days, you know, I mean not School Days, and She's Gotta Have It, you know, She's Gotta Have It. What
86.
So it was just, you know,
there was that gap though.
Yeah.
So I wasn't exposed to blaxploitation that way, you know. Like my earliest blaxploitation memory is seeing Superfly when it premiered on television, like in the late 70s. You know, it was probably 70. I'm gonna guess it was 1975 when it came on TV. It was like on channel 17. It was a big deal, you know, because it was like it's Superfly week, you know, and playing the theme song and all that stuff. So I mean, my exposure to blaxploitation was primarily through soundtracks. You know, I was too young to see these things in theaters. So my wheelhouse is House Party. It's Hollywood Shuffle. It's She's Gotta Have It. That's my introduction to Black film, and those still are some of my favorites. And then as you see behind me, Coming to America.
Right.
I think that's like my number one movie. You know, and then I'll put Melinda in there. I'll put Nothing But a Man in there.
Right.
And you know, for Spike, She's Gotta Have It. That's my wheelhouse, you know. But and then later when I went to film school, that's when I started to learn about Disco Godfather. Well, working in the video stores when I learned about Disco Godfather.
Oh, really?
The Avenging Disco Godfather.
Yeah.
I'll put that on the screen.
Mine, you know, my era is Cooley High. I remember my brother taking us to see that. And he was affected by the Superfly because my brother's 6 years older than me. But so when, you know, some of those movies that the community was claiming were bad influences, he was walking around looking like Superfly. Who's, you know, but some of and a lot of movies people remember. Oh, and Cotton Comes to Harlem. You know, this is back in the days when you had double. That was Watermelon Man is back then too. But back in the day, you know, when you had the double features in the movies, and you also had drive-in movies. So your parents would take you. I don't know, y'all. Let me know if you remember this. Your parents, some of the old heads, parents take you to the drive-in movie, and you get to watch the kiddie movie, and then tell you to go to sleep in the back, so they could watch the rated R movie. So that's how I ended up seeing Cotton Comes to Harlem. My mom and dad wanted to see, they took us to see that, you know. What else? What's Hell Up in Harlem? You know, is another
Okay.
one of the ones
That's a
I
classic.
talk. Well, if we're talking about black exploitation, but I'm Coolie High, and like a lot of you guys, I saw people say Black Caesar, yeah. Uptown Saturday Night, Let's Do It Again. You know, we know we shouldn't mention Cos, but Cos and Sidney Poitier, they do their thing in those two movies right there. You know,
Yeah, you had
and
that one earlier.
I mean, those are the ones that affected me. But of course, I like, you know, as being a fan and someone in the business, of course, Coming to America, Chuck Turner. You know, my cousin Ernest Dickerson showed me Chuck Turner for the first time. For me,
Okay.
the original Sparkle, you know, is a little bit. But everybody's coming from their different eras. I'm digging it. I'm digging it, y'all.
No, this is a great idea that you had
Yeah.
to talk about these things. Let's go through some of the early people on the list. 8 o'clock Sankofa. I just watched that again recently, getting ready for some stuff. Haile Garima's movie. It's on Netflix now.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
good.
okay. Well, Nothing But a Man. That's in my top 5 all
Oh,
time.
that's Ivan Dixon, right?
Ivan Dixon's a star. Yeah, with Abby Lincoln. Yeah.
That's the black and white. Yeah, I think I watched. Maybe I watched it on your channel, Mike.
I never put that up, but
Never put
yeah.
it up. That's right. I forgot. You never put it up. I think I might have read, but that was really a good movie too. 5 on the Black. I never saw that all the way through. 5 on the Black Hand Side. That's one of the ones that came out when I was young. There.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I got a funny story about Blackula. My
Okay.
buddy Dave Johnson and I, who directed Drop Squad, y'all. We were laughing the way the guy names Blackula. If you remember the scene, and I name you Black. It almost looked like he didn't know what to say. He was getting ready to say Nigula. I want to say that. He tried to, and he decided Blackula, but it was a funny little bit that we would riff on that.
That's funny. Oh, here's one. Penitentiary.
Penitentiary. Woo, Leon Isaac Kennedy. I know
Yeah.
why you watching that, girl. Penitentiary.
Too Sweet.
Too Sweet.
I
And
saw that in the
Penitentiary too.
theater. I saw that in the movie theater at the Cheltenham Twin. That was one of those double feature movies, and I didn't know what I was watching. I had no business watching Penitentiary
Yeah, no, that was
at age 11, you know.
no, that was raw dog. And that's where you see not only Leon Isaac Kennedy, but an early Ernie Hudson, you know,
Yes.
playing Half Dead, right?
Yes.
So
Let's see. Here's one. Oh, Drop Squad. Well, talk since you have some insight. Talk about Drop Squad. It keeps popping up here.
Drop Squad was originally based on a short that my partners, who guys eventually became my partners to do the feature version, contacted me through another mutual friend to star in it, to play the lead, and so we shot the 41 minutes, and that's what led to Spike's involvement after somebody else had the rights. Story is, or what happens, not the story. We had a 41-minute short. We were getting a lot of heat behind it. We actually arranged at the Negro Ensemble Company at the time to do midnight screenings of Drop Squad after their plays that they were doing. And so someone took out the rights to it. They were going to pay enough money to shoot another 40 minutes and release it as a feature. They were never raised the money. Their option expired. During that time, Spike became involved. I got interested. If you notice in Drop Squad, Leonard Thomas plays XB. He's a good friend of mine from school days. So I brought him into the short version called The Session, and then he took it to Spike, and Spike got involved, and kind of during the time when we were strained our relationship, which is why you have Eric LaSalle playing the lead character, the role that I originated.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to, it was an experience to also get a credit behind the scenes as an associate producer and hire a lot of my friends who are a lot of good actors. You have Tico Wells from the Five Heartbeats, Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames actually booked Pulp Fiction while we were shooting Drop Squad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, for those who don't know, because it's kind of a hard movie to find nowadays, but I think the premise holds up. I mean, can you talk a little bit about what the premise is?
Yeah, the premise is basically black people checking other black people that are doing things that are detrimental to the race or to the progression of black people. That's it in a short. And the various it's exhibited by the various characters of a shady preacher, shady politician, and Eric LaSalle, the lead, plays a ad executive who is producing the real kind of ghetto-ish kind of ads, really negative ads, selling malt liquor, all of the negative things that are harming the black community. They were coming up with these ads. So the Drop Squad, a revolutionary group, snatches these people up, kidnap them for a number of for a time period, and put them through sort of a deprogramming process to kind of jog their memory and check their values again. And so that's what this. So it's a kind of a, as you see, it's kind of abstract a little bit, and but fortunately, Spike was involved and he got it sold, and he just explained it like pretty much a black thing. Some of you guys, some of the people who put up the money weren't getting it quite as much, but we had really good performances, like great cast. Vanessa Williams before Soul Food, I believe. Who else? Crystal Fox, who went on to Tyler Perry's I forget the show that she's on there. Casey Lemons, film director, her husband Vondi Curtis Hall, Michael Ralph, of course. So we had a bunch of a sister that was local down there. Oh man, why can't I remember my girl's name? Wow, that's messed up. Kim Hawthorne, excuse me. I'm sorry, Kim Hawthorne. Kim Hawthorne from Greenleaf was on there, and she's did another thing. So it was cool working with a lot of people you like.
Okay. We're going back to Vashon. He keeps mentioning Gordon's War.
Is that Paul Winfield?
It is very good.
I never saw that, but I remember, Vashon, I remember that being
it's similar. It's similar in some ways to Drop Squad in the sense that it's a guy who comes back from the Vietnam War, and he's Vashon can correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it, but involves him taking back the neighborhood from drug dealers. But somebody that he knows dies of drugs, and he uses his Vietnam skills to take back the neighborhood, kind of thing. So, if I'm not mistaken, I could be way off on that. It's been a while.
During the heyday, Paul Winfield was, Sounder. Paul Winfield was a seriously working. He was one of the working brothers back then. That was working a lot often. He was had a nice little run.
He played Martin Luther King.
Yes, he did in that movie King, right?
Looks nothing like him. That just goes to show you
about a foot taller.
That goes to show you how popular Paul Winfield was when they wanted to make a Martin Luther King movie.
Right.
They cast him in it. So.
Right. Yeah. We In Too Deep. Is that Fish? That was
In Too Deep. That's LL Cool J. I'm not seeing that.
Vaguely remembering that.
You're moving real fast. How about?
Okay. You can see me scrolling.
Well, I just popped up 5 Heartbeats. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
Did I think I might have. I was trying to get an audition for that, but that really is a good movie. I wanted to play that role that Michael Wright did, but where he gets, he's like the David Ruffin type, 5 Heart, my girl Carla Brothers, who was in the play Jonan with Me, played Robert Townsend's girlfriend in that, I believe.
Okay.
And she was in a movie called 10,000 Men Named George. Who know about that? About the Pullman Porters.
Yeah.
And Philip Randolph.
Now that was on the channel for a blip of a period of time. It's a made for cable movie.
In talking about Gordon's War, Vashon and Mike, and Mike, when you just told me, because I never saw it, I knew of the title. But just that description reminds me of the Spook Who Sat by the Door a little bit, about brothers using their skills to help the community. Kind of, Drop Squad a little bit. So.
It's similar, yeah. It's a good one. It's I always feel like there's a reason why certain movies get lost to time. And if the countercultural or revolutionary thoughts in it, another movie like that is a movie called Brothers. I don't know if anybody mentioned that one in the chat with Vanetta McGee and Bernie Casey. It's based on Soledad Brothers. It's loosely based on Angela Davis and George Jackson's story.
And
that's one that's never made it to DVD.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's why your channel, to me, even before I knew it was you and Reconnected, I was able to see a lot of those rare Black titles that other people don't value as much as we might. Everybody in the chat, all of us that are fans of all of these movies, and it's hard, so for that to be kind of cut out is really unfair, because we know what's going to happen with all these titles. They'll just be sitting somewhere and we'll never be able to enjoy them anymore. And that's really the shitty thing about it. Willie Dynamite.
Well, Norbert asked a good question. What do we mean by Black movies? Actors, plot, storyline. Roots is a classic.
Without a doubt.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's stories about Black people, but it's better when the stories are made by Black people. That's what we talk about. Authorship of the story is by Black people or people of color. So
yeah, that's always the caveat in that, right? I mean, when I finally moved to LA and started working episodically, and really with some of the sitcoms, the Black sitcoms, the few that I did worked during stand-in work, really not even cast on it, but I noticed that a couple of them, very clear example for a brief time, was a couple. Well, I don't want to say a different world, because they had Black writers too that were able to come on and be the executive producers. But I think early on, maybe the main folks in charge might have been white, but that was cause overseeing that, so that was a different scenario. But I noticed that a lot of the other Black shows had a predominantly white writing staff, and producers behind it. That was the thing back in the day with Good Times and all that. Brother from Another Planet, that was good. Joe Morton. Ernest Dickerson was the actual DP, and John Sayles directed it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Good movie.
A very good movie. Yeah.
JD's Revenge. I just saw that not too long ago.
Oh, did you?
I mean, that was one of the ones I never got a chance to see. Sucked. Good name.
Glenn Turman.
That was one of Glenn Turman. That was one of the ones I always wanted to see, so I finally got down and watched it. And I met the brother who was actually the original pimp in the movie. Glenn. He embodies Glenn's body. But the brother that actually was the character that played the character, David something. I met him in L.A. around Cleopatra Brown.
Cleopatra Jones.
Jones.
Typing fast.
Tamara Dobson. Fine sister. Did two of those, right? Cleopatra Jones. I mean, we can talk about that era too. Of the bad Black sister, excuse me. That's when Cleopatra Jones and Pam Grier comes on the scene, and Sheba Baby and those classics that she was doing. My bad. No, that's right.
It's all right, Glenda. No, we were hoping people would come on and talk, but I mean, we're still experimenting with the technology, but we can follow the chat. But if you want to come on, just click that on your phone.
Y'all doing some lines out there. That's a game I like to play. Doing little quotes from the movies. Where is Bucky and what has he had? What's that from, Maximus? I'm not sure.
That's Dolomite.
Is that Dolomite? I wasn't really, my experience in introduction to Dolomite was my brother reciting that.
Avenging Godfather.
Avenging Godfather. What was that? Dolomite?
Disco Godfather. Yeah.
And what was that about? Disco Godfather.
Angel Dust takes over. Bucky ODs. Dolomite is Dolomite, and he figures out how to stomp out crime. But he said that was the last Dolomite movie because two things happened. One, they put disco in the title, and by the time the movie came out, disco craze had already ended.
Oh, I see.
And then also it was preachy. It was telling people not to do drugs. And he felt that those were the two reasons why the movie didn't make enough money for him to be able to make any more movies after that. So, the Mac. That's a good one.
The Mac, yeah. Prior with Rich steals the show almost in the Mac.
So I ain't no track star.
Right. Roger Moses or Roger
Roger
Mosley.
Mosley, yes.
Dick Anthony Williams. You know, they had a couple of the real dudes and they had some real pimps in there too. You all know, I think those were those twins at that scene where they have the players' ball. Yeah, they had some real pimps at the players' ball.
Oh yeah.
And also, I got a chance to meet Max Julian. He did a rest in peace. He did an episode of One on One when I was doing standing work. Is there a black?
Yeah. Rest in peace, Carol Speed as well for the Mag.
Who was that? Carol Speed.
She was one of the main hoes.
Female leads. Oh, right, the one who
played. She played Abby. She played Abby, short, light skin.
Right. I forgot about her. That's right.
Yeah, they passed away within a week of each other. Max Julian and Carol Speed.
Really?
Yeah, earlier this year. Yeah.
Warriors is not really a black film. Smack it up. But it's cool. It's an urban film.
Urban film, honorary black film.
It's a little cheesy sometimes, but it's urban.
Yeah, it's Walter Hill, so
right.
It's kind of a urban western kind of thing is how he probably would describe it, but we like it. So
Buck and the Preacher, one of
Glender's hitting home, throwing
Pootie Tang.
We're talking about favorite black films. I need clarification on that. I don't know if it's a favorite.
Just throwing it out. But Lance Crothers, is a good dude. That was Pootie Tang. Met him at Terminal D back in the day when Bob Sumner was producing the comedy over there.
Has strong African influence.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, even some movies that seem not made by black directors have strong African influence without black actors, writers, support staff. Well, I mean, especially if it's music related, we inform that culture. So I agree.
Culture appropriation, Johnny. That's what that's called. I'm sure you already know that. But yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, that's true, Max. Without a doubt.
Maximus Black coveted the Warriors.
Who was the cat that got killed? They said, "Can you dig it? 50,000 soldiers. Can you dig it?"
Come out and play.
Old heads. What about Putney Swope?
Oh, that's my John.
Putney Swope. Why you playing? Putney Swope. What you know about that? Putney Swope.
Got to have soul.
It's got whatever it is. How you sound? I heard about that when I was doing School Days and
Vashon is coming on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. He's not ready yet. Go ahead. Finish your story.
Fishburne. I think a couple guys were referencing. A couple of the older heads were referencing Putney Swope, and that's when I first whet my appetite. And then I was wondering. I finally got a chance to see it, and it's an interesting movie made by Robert Downey Sr.
Yeah, I need to watch it again and be caught up. But Vashon, his device isn't connected yet, so
Buck and the Preacher, Glenda. Yeah, my very good friend plays the little boy who gets killed. His name is Dennis Hines. He was a child actor. His mother was Teresa Merritt from That's My Mama.
Okay. Oh, he's showing off. Hang on, he's showing off behind his posters here. Hang on. Hey, man.
Vashon.
You're muted. You're muted. Show off.
Is that your collection?
He's a 80s baby.
Go ahead.
Hey, now we can hear you. Oh, you got your boy's hat too? Wait, hang on.
I can't hear anything. I can't hear you. But
no, you're unmuted, but you're.
But I'm digging your Boys in the Hood T-shirt for show. What you got up there?
He's a big fan.
What you got up there? You got Bad Boys. I see you.
Mike isn't connected. Try it now.
No.
You
gonna chat?
Right. Okay, we'll come back to you and play with that. Live television, folks.
Yo, yeah, that was my buddy Dennis Hines. You're getting back to a Buck and the Preacher. So, yeah, I asked him about working. He got to work with legends. Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Ruby D, Miss Ruby. But you got to watch. Y'all seen Buck and the Preacher where they got the white man, stunt man, standing there for Miss Ruby, riding a horse.
Oh, really?
With all the big broad shoulders and shit. But it was
Short
real.
Ruby D.
They got a real cool moment in there with African Americans and Native Americans when they ask, you guys know that watch the movie, when they try to get support for the Native Americans,
Yeah, that's a great scene.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to use that in one of our documentaries.
Yeah. Willie Dynamite,
Okay.
Roscoe Orman went on to be, and Willie, well, he was the Mac in Willie Dynamite, right? He was the main pimp, but he went on to play Gordon on Sesame Street for the rest of his career, from Willie Dynamite to Sesame Street.
Isn't that a trip? Isn't that playing? He's playing a pimp, but then he's teaching us how to read.
Yeah, right.
Gordon.
And I never saw that originally either until.
Okay, now we have a troll here.
Ghost Dad with Bill Cosby.
That's a troll. I'm sorry. That's not a good film. That can't be. If you're not trolling, then you're certainly welcome to enjoy whatever movie you like. I'm not passing judgment.
You don't like Ghost Dad, Mike? Michael Knight. 31.
I'm not. That's a movie. It's like, how does this even get made?
Because that's, what do you mean? That's Cos. You know how it got made. It's ironically how those movies later on in Cos' career trying to do the films, was not happening.
Yeah, play the devil and Max Devlin and Mother Jugs and Speed. Yeah, some of those movies.
Well, I liked Mother Jugs and Speed. That was, Cos. Who else? Harvey Keitel, Raquel Welch.
Okay, he's back.
To all my friends on shore was another dramatic TV movie that Cosby did with my buddy that I just mentioned, Dennis Hines, playing his son who was dying of a terminal disease, which was pretty good.
That's true. All right, Vashon's back. Let's see if he's got a microphone and all kinds
of stuff. You're right, Max. He's one of the writers on that.
Hey, we got a special guest, Vashon Quinones.
Come on, bro.
What's going on?
What's happening? Here we go.
Yay.
What's happening, bro?
Oh, man, that's good. How you doing, man?
You got the pop screen and everything. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And not to make y'all a liar, but remember I told you Tougher Than Leather is on the wall. There it is.
Oh my God.
Along with New Jack City and of course
Tougher Than Leather. You're a real fan.
And then right here, you have the Mac.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's a classic.
Yeah.
So,
Fury.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a lot in there. I got to figure out how to do the double. Like I've got them up here,
right,
and then they're on the floor. But I need to figure out how to.
So Vashon, what's your era? I mean, you're obviously younger than me and Mike. So what's the era that really piqued your interest
in movies?
Yeah. In black movies.
Black movies?
Yeah.
Definitely the 90s.
Right.
Of course, Spike is my main man.
Right.
Really with Spike Lee, really. So mid to late 80s is the beginning, but then, I started going to the movies on my own around the 90s, 91. Start riding my bikes to theaters and stuff like that. So, but yeah, definitely Spike Lee had a huge impact on my life.
Were R-rated movies a big thing?
Huh?
Were R-rated movies a big thing, or you saw the stuff on videotape and it didn't matter?
Well, I saw School Days on cable. I rented it, and at first I thought it was a different world, the movie.
Interesting. Gotta have that backwards there, huh?
You know what I'm saying? At first, and then of course, loving that movie so much, I had to see any and everything Spike Lee put out. So of course, Do the Right Thing, and I went to the movies to go see that, and that movie had such a huge impact on my life, man, because it was like one of those things where movies weren't just entertainment; they spoke to you. And I remember as a kid going to see Do the Right Thing in the theater, and seeing the reaction from the crowd, how Black people was talking back to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And, you know, so especially the scene where, you know, John Turturro is like, you know, Eddie Murphy and Magic Johnson, they're not black.
Right.
And I remember this woman said, "Oh, this is some bullshit," and she got up and got up out of the theater. And I remember I was like, "Wow, man, it's so powerful that cinema can have this profound effect on people."
Right. Right.
So then, you know, another moment was probably New Jack City.
Yeah.
You know, because with that movie, for me, was, you know, I love action pictures, right? But for me, it was like I didn't have the cool brother on screen. Like the 70s were that. Yeah, you know, there was Eddie Murphy and you had Mr. T on the small screen, and then, you know, Steve James and things like that. But Wesley Snipes, for me, had a huge impact on me. It was like, damn, this brother's so cool. Yeah, I know he was selling crack cocaine, but it was just what he brought to that role still is unmatched.
Right.
You know, if you know, like people say, well, what about Michael Jai White? No. I'm a fan of Michael Jai White.
Yeah.
But he don't have the Wesley thing. The Wesley thing was he was able to take the flavor from the barbershop, the ball courts, the in your car, and put that on the screen so effortlessly, right?
Right. Right.
And so that's why for me, Wesley Snipes will always be number one in my book, and New Jack City will be number one. The blending of both action, commentary, and not miss a beat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you rarely get movies like that, or you at least try, or they try hammer in too much of the commentary and forget to entertain. But it was a perfect blend of both. You know what I mean? And it was also, since I didn't grow up in the 70s, it was my introduction to go back and look at the movies from the past. Because, you know, I always looked at Ice-T's character to kind of be the 1991 revamp of Shaft. His character, he was a man of the people first. He wasn't a cop. He was like a street mercenary. You know, he didn't play by rules. He was this kind of, you know, middleman between law enforcement, underworld. Because remember, Mario Van Peebles is coming to him for help. Right. You know, so all right, so New Jack City always ranked high in my book, and Deep Cover is probably second of the 90s.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. What did you think of the Criterion Deep
Which
Cover?
One?
Deep Cover.
Awesome. I think I burned a hole in it. Deep Cover, you know, it's like, you know, it got me into looking at noir films, you know, especially in the 90s, because the 90s was crime central in terms of movies. Quentin Tarantino was blowing up. You know, you had all these straight to home video crime movies, you know, in addition to a lot of black filmmakers making, you know, these, you know, crime movies, whether it's Menace, Dead Presidents,
kind of hood,
hood movies. So Deep Cover ranks really high. And I always say that Deep Cover was Larry Fishburne era. I'm not a fan of Lawrence Fishburne era.
Okay.
You know, Larry Fishburne era was player and smooth.
Right.
Lawrence Fishburne era was too Shakespearean for me. You know what I'm saying? And so, and here's the thing: there's a connection between Deep Cover, Sugar Hill, and I wouldn't say King of New York. All three of those films are shot by Bojan Bozelli.
Right.
Wesley Snipes was in King of New York, as Larry Fishburne was.
Yeah. I could tell you some stories about King of New York.
Yeah, Abel Ferrara worked on Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Leon Ichaso worked on Miami Vice. So there's always this kind of like the Bojan Bozelli like universe that's going on, and you know what I mean. And Wesley Snipes is in Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Michael Wright, they give good performances.
Right. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, King of New York is an interesting story.
Right.
When they were casting for that, right?
Right.
You know, that wasn't too long after we did School Days, and so, you know, started hearing about the auditions, Giancarlo, Fish, and they would told so and so. You know, we would back in those days, particularly in the East Coast. You know, you would have other actors that would pull your coat and say, "Go audition, go up here and audition." So everybody was kind of bum rushing Abel in auditioning, because the part that Fish plays in New Jack City, Jimmy Jump, was originally supposed to be played by a white actor named James Russo.
Yep.
You know who he is. He's the one that gets killed in 40 in coming to. I mean, what's it? Beverly Hills Cop. He plays Eddie Murphy's buddy who comes back with the gun. Yeah. So so what happens is that Fish really wanted that role. He found out that James Russo was booked to do another film, so he rolled up on Abel Ferrara and said, Jimmy Russo's booked. Let me audition for this. He books the job. He tells Giancarlo. Giancarlo tells Leonard. So before you know it, it's looking like Christopher Walken has an all-black gang, which was not the original intent. But Abel went with it. He rolled with it, and it turned out to be like a cult classic.
But you know what's crazy? Now, this is coming from Quentin Tarantino's mouth, not mine. He was on a podcast, and he said Jimmy Russo didn't take the role because he didn't get along with David Caruso.
Maybe so.
They had a problem on China Girl.
Maybe so.
So, So it's interesting that you brought up Larry Fishburne and both Giancarlo Esposito, because my dad was cool with both of them at the time, and they used to go on auditions. And I remember my dad used to tell me,
"Who's your dad?"
Shabba-Doo.
Oh yeah. Is not Shabaka?
Huh?
Shabba-Doo, the breaker.
Yeah, Locker. Yeah.
Yo, man, your dad, man. I saw him. Check this out.
Okay.
My aunt took me to. We were like 13 years old back in the day.
Right.
Me and my two cousins, all of us were like brothers and shit. We went to see at the Radio City Music Hall. This is like 71, 72.
Right.
Graham Central Station. I don't know if you know about them. Ohio Players.
Oh, yeah.
Parliament.
Uh-huh.
Graham Central Station, I think, was the headliner.
Right.
Or either them or Ohio Players. Parliament. The Locker Dancers, Pops and them opened up the show.
Right.
Dancing and whatnot. They had, if you ever been to Radio City, they got the little opera seats up there. So they did like a whole thing with the whole crew. Spotlight over here, they over here, then they over there. It was dope. So it's just a small world. And, breaking, that was, that was on the West Coast tip, where it kind of tries to come in there, and where you see Ice-T, right? Ice was in that movie.
Right. Yeah, basically everyone from Breaking and Entering, that documentary, which was kind of like, West Coast equivalent to Wild Style, which is basically in Breaking. It was like everyone from that documentary.
And they just put it
into the movie. Ice-T, I believe, used to dance before he really rapped.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
He's actually from here, from Jersey.
Yeah, from Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I know about Ice. I got to meet Darlene recently. So. Still look good too.
Yeah,
that's a whole other story.
Yeah, I used to live in a building in LA when I was living out there,
right,
Hollywood Boulevard, where one of my neighbors' daughters used to babysit.
Okay.
For Little Ice when he was,
Okay.
So, okay. Ice was cool. I mean, he, I played one of the piano players for Keith Sweat in New Jack City. That was as close as I can get. I wanted to play one of the gangsters, but it was as close.
That was you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And I was in School Days too with Giancarlo and Fishburne.
Absolutely. Too. And I mentioned in the comments, I said one of my favorite, even though it's not a movie, Salt and Pepper's Tramp.
Right now.
You gotta be, it's crazy because I talked to your man Leonard Jackson too a couple times online. And I said, Leonard, you were in Miss Melody video. And I took a screenshot. He's like, "Oh, bro, you went back."
Wait, time out. Did I miss something? Are you in the Tramp video, Eric?
Yeah, I play. Because here's the story behind the Tramp video. Pamela Gibson, who had Atlantis Video Productions, who eventually she wrote what's it?
Strictly Business.
Strictly Business. She wrote Strictly Business, and that was their video production company. Hervey Love Bug had Salt and Pepper. That was Salt and Pepper's first video, and those guys all, they funded their first video themselves. And Rolando Hudson, who was a good brother video director, directed the video. I knew Pam because I went to Hampton. We went to school together, and I knew that they were doing a music video. I knew that was high profile to get in the music video. So they shot that not too far from my house, and that's actually my sister is in it. One of her girls is in it,
Right.
and that's actually my real girlfriend that comes in and snatches me out the club at the end. That we were going together at the time,
and she was in School Days too.
Yes, she was. Yep.
She was. My man, Half Pint was trying to make a play for her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Toni Ann Johnson is a fantastic writer now. She's written a number of books, and
Right.
she wrote the Ruby Bridges story, I believe, screened for that. But yeah, it's a small world, brother. It's a small world,
I can't find it. Why is it not on YouTube?
The Tramp video show. I think it is on there.
Yeah, that's the first outside of School Days. Went back and they used to play Young TV raps and
right.
I remember I said, I'm not thinking like, okay, actors go off and do other things, right? Like it's like, okay, I said that's my man from fucking School Days. You know what I'm saying? And I was, it tripped me out, man. You were in a number of videos, right? Or just
just that one. I mean, I think I did another one, Salt and Pepper, but I think they reshot that one, but that was the only video. But between that and being in Juice, that gave me my street hip hop cred,
right?
With everybody.
But you also related to Ernest Dickerson, right?
Right, he's like a cousin to me. Families are very
tight.
Okay.
I did my homework.
You up on it, brother.
I'm always Mike. First time I got on the phone with Mike was like, "Damn."
Your stuff, yeah. I said either you're diehard or you're obsessive.
One of the two.
So, are you a filmmaker yourself?
I am not. I'm just like, been a big fan of movies for so long, and I just remember, kind of a little boring story here, but when I used to go to school, teachers used to give me clippings of newspapers of articles on filmmakers. So I used to read up on Spike Lee, and I used to read up on John Singleton.
Right.
Anything. They were like, well, they just let me go and do my thing, and especially in English class, right? So I used to read up on this stuff, and so all the information I've kept throughout the years. So I've had magazines, books. I've had Spike Lee's. She's Got to Have It. The filmmaking grill. What's that? The Guerrilla Filmmaking Guide or whatever. That first book he put out. I had that one. I had the School Days book. I got to speak with your man Monty.
Monty Ross, right?
So I got to meet Spike recently too, last year. And
was it last year or last month?
No, it was it was maybe, it had to have been December.
Okay.
And I went up to him, and you could think of all the shit that you want to say.
Yeah, right. But then
and then he had the mask on and gloves, but then he looks at you, he looks through you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh no. And then my mother, was here, and she was like, hey, you came and gave a speech at the college I work at back in 2003. And he goes, oh, okay. So he began to open up. And so, I got to do my impression. I know I'm going to embarrass myself on YouTube, but Spike was like, she goes, look, we even got the original Crooklyn jersey. He goes, oh, that's vintage. Oh,
yeah. Yep.
He was like, and he wasn't supposed to sign anything that day. He was just supposed to sign his book, Spike.
Okay.
I got so many autographs that day. I got them even on camera. So thank you, Spike.
No, Spike is great.
Crooklyn was originally going to be Messenger. I don't know if you heard the story that I told before about. That's how I met Spike. He came to see a play called Jonan, which was written by Gerard Brown, who's is Ernest Dickerson's best friend from Howard.
They also wrote Juice.
They also wrote Juice together, right? And so Spike comes to support Gerard's play with Ernest, and that's how I met Spike. And at the time, he had just finished his Joe's Bed-Stuy, where he cut heads, about a year or two before, and was doing this movie about the passing of his mother, and he was a bicycle messenger.
Right.
And they couldn't get a SAG waiver. They originally had John Carlo playing the lead, Fishburne playing his best friend, Kadeem was going to play his little brother, and Spike couldn't work it out with SAG, so he couldn't use those guys. and he had me come and audition. We were rehearsing. I ended up getting the role, rehearsing with him for 2 weeks. Met Tracy Johns, was supposed to play my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then the weekend we were supposed to start, before we were supposed to start shooting, the guy who was going to be the executive producer raising the money said, I can't raise the money. So Spike had to regroup. In the middle of that, some crew people were trying to sue him and bring a collective lawsuit because they tried to get me involved. And I had become friendly with Spike, obviously rehearsing with him every day for 2 weeks. So he regrouped and ended up doing She's Gotta Have It. And, like they say. Right. And then, of course, that became Crooklyn, about that experience with his mother passing.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard about the messages through a recent interview with Tracy Camilla Johns. So that's how I knew about that.
Right.
Because I totally forgot.
Right.
But yeah, great information right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wonder if there's a script around.
Yeah, I got to go through my storage. I got stuff in storage here. I want to find, there's a long sleeve T-shirt that they had. They gave out that said Messenger, and I'm sure I have a script in storage.
I'd love to know what the differences are, because
right.
He said Kirkland is written with his sister.
Right.
Oh, really? Withdraw? Right. Right.
So
right.
Now I gotta ask. James Bond III.
James Bond III. Well, I forget the
Death by Temptation.
Death by Temptation. He did that after he did School Days too. That's how he got Bill and Kadeem.
Right.
And Beverly Bond. No relation. Sam Jackson. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've been trying to find James Bond III. He kind of lost contact with him. He's hard to get in contact, but he's a good brother. He worked as a child actor a lot of times too.
Yeah, I know. Fish to Save Pittsburgh.
That's right. And
Red, what's it? The redhead gang?
The Sky's Crying or something.
Go Tell. I thought it was Go Tell on the Mountain.
Go Tell on the Mountain.
Yeah.
Right.
He was in one of those books.
Well, he has a film festival, I think, in Kentucky.
Yeah, he moved somewhere in Middle America, right? I mean, that's what I thought. I thought I had heard he was in Colorado, but I like Kentucky. That's good to know. See if I could track him down one of these days. I never saw the Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. You brought that up. That's one I never saw. Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
Have you heard that'd be a good soundtrack to put up?
With Dr. J, right? Dr. J was in there, right?
Yeah, but like that soundtrack is fire though. Phyllis Hyman. I mean, it's definitely, now correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. That's Philly, right?
What, Phyllis Hyman or
just the overall producers of that soundtrack, the whole sound of it, right? It's
could be. I'm not sure who else. I'm trying to figure out who sang the theme song.
Well, I know Phyllis was on it.
Phyllis Hyman.
Yeah.
You got me Googling now.
Magic Mona.
Never.
What should we do with this channel, man?
The Last Dragon. The Last Dragon was the first movie I ever did extra work in when I was in SAG. Last Dragon.
I got a funny story about Time Out, but I have to tell you in private.
Time Out.
Yeah, he was.
We should try and get Timok on. He's cool people.
Yeah, Timok is cool. The Last Dragon, that was a hit movie. Timok, he was a matinee idol for a minute. Listen, I remember driving down the street over here in Orange, New Jersey, near this one movie theater. They had line. I had never seen a line down the block. Right. So, what do you say? Crystal said did someone say The Wiz?
Oh, The Wiz.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, this is Tom Bell and James. Yeah, you're right. It's all Philly. Fish to Save Pittsburgh soundtrack. It's Tom Bell, who's part of the Mighty Three.
Right.
Tom Bell, Gamble, and Huff. And they're making a movie about them. Now, what was your thought, Vashawn?
Yeah.
Summer of Soul. Did we talk about that? Did you see it?
I did see it. I want to see it.
I haven't seen it.
I went to the El Capitan theater to go see it.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, it was bomb. I enjoy it, and a lot of people may have said, I've heard people say to me that they wish there was more music in it. Personally, I enjoyed the commentary.
Yeah.
I just love the attitude of the movie. You know what I mean? And Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy that movie. Now, do I put it same as Watt Stacks? No, but it was solid. I definitely enjoyed it. I was shocked, especially Questlove stepping behind the camera, yes, and doing it. But speaking of Questlove, real quick,
okay,
he wrote a Soul Train book not too long ago. If he's watching,
okay,
he wrote a little piece on the lockers, and I want to correct him on something. It was not Scooby Doo. Foster was not a member. Just a little. I want to clear the air about that. I saw that. I was like, oh, he's trying to etch people into the locker. He can't. It wasn't there. Oh no, sorry about that. Quest, don't do that.
So, Vashawn, when did the lockers first come on the scene? Was it on Soul Train? Was the first appearance that they started getting a lot of notoriety, or?
I'm going to say yeah. Now, my mother is great with the history on that, because she was there from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, let's just, for safety reasons, yes. I'm going to say yes. For everyone else to see. Soul Train, yes. Yeah. In fact, that's where my mother and father, they met on Soul Train.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they met. But what's funny, even though they met on the show, they didn't spark up a conversation until a real conversation it was a spot called the Blueberry Hill. And that's where they filmed Dolomite movie. Bringing it back to Dolomite now.
Right.
My dad was hosting an event. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I had to bring it back.
That's where they filmed it at the hotel. You mean, or?
No, it was I believe it was a nightclub.
Oh, a nightclub. Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those movies. I don't think it was the Disco Godfather. It was one of those that but it was a very famous place, and my dad was hosting an event there, a dance contest. You know what I mean? So.
Gotcha. Is that how the group formed, or did they how did what's kind of the history of the Lockers? Because obviously went on to, and that style of dancing, that they introduced that became synonymous with Soul Train. Certainly, that one clip, people dancing down the Soul Train line, and the rest of Black America, tuned into that. So how did give us a little history lesson about how that? I'm sure a lot of people are interested about that.
Well. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, family. That history is, I've heard so many stories, so I can't give you the correct one, because it might be, some might say, no, that's not what happened. That's what happened. But I just do know that my dad came from Chicago and, moved to Fullerton and then eventually meeting the guys. But, all I know is that Don, is the creator of the dance.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was it. They made history. That's the extent that I know of it. You know what I mean? But like I said before, my mother is probably the best one to really know what all the details behind the Lockers history. I'll tell you what. Let me get with her. I'll find out, and I'm gonna inbox you.
Yeah, we could do that. We could talk about it on the thing here. So was someone just said that Locker Dancers made an appearance? What was it on?
SNL.
I thought they just said with Tony. Yeah, on SNL.
Yes, that's true.
Was she?
Yeah, she was a member too.
Oh, and what's happening? So was Fred Berry, smack it up? That was going to be my question. Fred Berry was the original member of the Locker Dancers.
Yes.
Rerun. Okay.
We call him Penguin.
Called him what?
Penguin.
Penguin. Oh, he used to do that move. Was that his move? The little.
Yeah. Was there y'all had their own little individual styles? You dig? My dad had the knee drops and all that stuff.
Right.
So but yeah, little history too. Originally, my dad was supposed to be rerun on What's Happening.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he, opened his mouth, and Fred Berry went down there and we're gonna change the character to because rerun was supposed to be like a Cochise type character.
Oh, really? That's right, because it's loosely based on Cooley High. That's right.
Right. But then, because he was heavy set, they changed it and, make some more jokes.
Right,
But
of course.
but my dad was like, okay, I gotta keep quiet about this.
Right.
About auditions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, there was I want to see, if Real Black could do anything, it would be to go through the vaults of some of these studios and bring out some things. And one of them is the original dramatic pilot for Cooley High.
Right.
Before they turned it into What's Happening. And some stills from it have shown up on the web, but not the whole piece. Yeah, in Getty Images, you can find the publicity stills for Cooley High, the TV series. But when we have the power to do so, that's what I want to do.
So was that Eric Monte who wrote Cooley? Was it Eric Monte who wrote Cooley High?
Eric
Monte.
Right? And they just recently had a
reunion.
A Cooley High, reunion down in Los Angeles.
It looks like they found the girl. They always said that she died young, but Cynthia Davis.
Right.
Oh, the light skin, his girlfriend.
I think she was at this reunion, but for years they said, "Oh, she died young" and all this other stuff.
Right. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, he's a really good brother. Growing up watching him from Welcome Back, Carter. That's what I go back to first hearing about him, Freddie Boom Boom Washington, because I hadn't seen Claudine. But I was living in LA doing the acting thing. You know how it is with Sean, and was at an audition. He was there.
Right.
And I think maybe we were auditioning for the same role. I don't know. But, talking to him, struck up a conversation. He was mad cool, right? And I was leaving. I didn't have transportation. He saw me hoofing it to the bus. He's like, "Yo, Eric, you need a ride?" I was like, "All right, riding with Coach Cheese." You know? Really, I'm a fan too of other actors and people I've watched their work over the years. And I think that even those that came before us never really got their due. There was a barbershop in Jersey where I used to go to. My father used to take me back in the day when I was a kid, Mr. Kuntz, Willie Kuntz. And he would have pictures like they do in Hollywood and LA or New York, actors' pictures on the wall for whatever reason. And John Amos is from this area, that we're from. And he would have John Amos and I never wanted to be one of those actors that go and give my pictures to people. I just always wanted to be on Mr. Kuntz's wall, like John Amos and all these other brothers I would see up there. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Classic.
So for years they said Cynthia had passed on, but there she is,
Right.
I could probably get her now, right? I have to wait this long.
But you know what though? Lawrence Hilton Jacobs.
He went on a bet.
Cooley High was great.
Yeah.
I love Cooley High. Yeah.
Well,
I got it back.
Youngblood was good too. He was good in that too.
Youngblood is a good one, man. I found that years back. I was into that. That was a good one too. It's interesting how we learn. I mean, for me, obviously, and if you guys are heads like me, I guess everybody in this conversation in chat is. You learn about history a little bit from watching movies. You get a little idea of what history might have been like or what life was like in different parts of the country. And these films, they reflect Black life in the country. We look back on the 70s and stuff, and sans the Black exploitation elements, we get a look into our culture. And so the New York movies, I thought, would do that. I'm from the East Coast, so there's some. But when I would see movies produced by Black filmmakers from LA, with that vibe, it gave me a cool little sense of, the Black, our part of the culture in that part of the country,
Right, and it's crazy. Directors in there, John Hersfield.
Mm-hmm.
He's in it. Who went on to direct 2 Days in the Valley and.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he played kind of the boxing instructor in that movie.
In Youngblood?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm. He went on to work with Stallone a lot. He was in Cobra.
Right. Wow. I'm a
Stallone
Stallone head.
Cobra.
I'm a Stallone head, man. Stallone is my man. But I want to.
Vashawn told me watch Cobra.
You have to watch Cobra.
It's a strange film.
You seen it already?
I've seen it.
Well, no, he told me to get it. I went and got it, after we talked on the phone.
We talk about black movies now. Get off on.
Yeah, I know, but I know it was just like I was shocked that when Mike said, I haven't seen it. I was like, what? That is one of the strangest Stallone movies ever.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, we talking black movies now.
Okay. Well, let's see. Nathaniel Ray Davis has been very active in the chat.
You talk about a blue collar, Nathaniel. Blue Collar was a dope movie. I guess could we consider that a black? Well, it had a black lead, Richard Pryor, and
Koto.
That was one of the that was Rich's one of his few, if not his only, dramatic role. Right.
Well, he did a couple, Some Kind of Hero and JoJo Dancer. You could consider dramatic.
Well, yeah.
He pulled the plug. You disappeared for a second. All right, let me remove him for a second while he gets that together. We're almost done. Yeah, he was talking about Blue Collar. I love Blue Collar. For those who haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's Richard Pryor, Yaphet Kotto, and Harvey Keitel. And they play auto workers, and they're set up by the man, basically. But what else is on? What else? Oscar Micheaux. Are you a fan there for Sean? He disappeared.
I have not seen an Oscar Micheaux film.
Really?
Yeah.
Not one.
Not one. I think I may have. Let me take that back. I remember going to Portland and hanging out with David Walker.
Okay.
It was like around, I want to say probably February. Pam Grier was there, but then they had a series of black movies, black and white, early films, like maybe from the 30s. So I may have seen an Oscar Micheaux film. I just don't remember.
Yeah, I think the one to watch for is called Within Our Gates.
Okay.
It's a silent film. It's his reaction to Birth of a Nation.
Okay.
But beyond that, it gets a little tricky when he does sound movies. Maybe Sepia Cinderella might be one to check out, which has been restored. But
sorry about that, guys.
My guy was who, when we talk about films that depict Los Angeles or Black LA, John Singleton gets mentioned, obviously, but
absolutely,
Charles Burnett don't get the love like he should.
Sleep with Anger.
Yeah, To Sleep with Anger and Killer Sheep.
Glass Shield.
Yeah. Love the Glass Shield.
Well, explain to me what Killer Sheep is about, because I'm still trying to process it. It's been 20 years since I've seen this movie.
Don't put me on the spot, Mike. It's been years too, but I've seen.
It's one you can watch with the sound down, and it's just as good as.
Really, I've never seen Killer of Sheep.
I no disrespect to Charles Burnett. He's a genius. He literally is a MacArthur genius. But I think that was one of those films that just evaded my understanding, and I think it was one of those things. Sometimes movies can be out of circulation, and they build their own mythology, and I think that's the case. It was so hard to see for such a long time that it took on a life of its own. And then when it became more available, it just it missed me. But Glass Shield, I think, is great, and To Sleep with Anger holds up pretty well. But Killer Sheep, and I hate to say it, Daughters of the Dust, I'm still processing. I've seen that movie like 5 times. I'm like, I even asked Julie Dash, "What is this movie about?"
Right.
About the Daughters of the Dust, bro.
I mean, it's so
left field.
See, I don't want to say anything disrespectful because I just don't understand them. It's art.
Yeah,
it's art.
Definitely avant-garde movies.
Avant-garde art films.
Me and a friend of mine, man. I'm gonna shout him out. My friend Jeff, man. We were talking about like there's studio black movies, and then there's black movies.
Right. That was definitely independent.
Right, and then when you watch a Jamal Fanaka, when you watch Charles Burnett or Julie Dash, they don't necessarily fall into cliches with their movies. You really have to watch and study these movies.
Yeah.
And like when I watched To Sleep with Anger, I kind of understand there's dealing with spirituality, dealing with the past, superstition and things like that. And I don't quite get all of it, but I'm so drawn to it that I've watched the movie.
Right.
And when I play it for people and I tell people to watch it, people are like, Deshaun, this movie with no explosions in it?
Right.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
It's a heavy movie to watch. And then there's humor that I find so left field but I get it. Like, no, and people are like, you thought that was funny? I'm like, yeah, I got it for some strange reason. You know what I mean? It's like, sometimes these movies, like, another one, someone brought up, Brother from Another Planet, John Sayles. They don't fall into like
that's right. The traditional
and plot devices. You really have to, they're really a movie about people.
Right.
And life. And life doesn't necessarily fall into any type of plot devices. It's just, things happen.
Well, Hollywood's got that whole kind of assembly line machine thing happening. Right. You know how they do. So I mean, they're about the bottom dollar and making that money. I'm seeing Nathaniel talk about Brenda Sykes. Man, you and Miss Matthews talk about Judy Pace. Y'all talk about some fine black women that little black boys looking up to, like me, talking about lovely Judy Pace. Yeah, Brenda Sykes too.
Eric, Brother Payne, let me ask you this. I'm a huge fan of Never Die Alone. What was it like working on Never Die Alone? Man.
It was Ernest hooked me up, I mean, once we connected, but the scene was it. First off, we had to wait for X to come to the set. X, God bless him, rest in peace. He's a good brother, but he came from the music world, and at that time he was at the height of what was happening, of his career. He was, you know what I noticed about X, and let me backtrack a little bit. Someone had contacted me one time about auditioning for Belly, the part of the guy that his character was supposed to assassinate that went to Ben Chavis. And I auditioned for that, and I saw the movie, wonder why I didn't get it. I was like, Ben Chavis, you're like a real historical character. What are you doing acting? But, so it's interesting how I started working again, ended up working with X again. But, he was doing the rap thing. So the call time, we waited for him for like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours to come to the set. And it was some crazy stuff going on. He was playing with a BB gun or something, and I think it went off, and he might have hit a crew member in the leg, and they called the cops, and he was in his trailer for a long time. But I saw Hollywood, and I saw Hollywood trying to make DMX, and I saw the potential for him to fill the position that Tupac, the void, in terms of that energy and stuff. And we did. I remember doing the table read, and X, when he talks, he's like da 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 da. His rhythm there's intention to where he speaks. You know what I'm saying? And it really is It was an interesting acting lesson for me because it always gets attention. He's always got, and that's in acting you want to be working towards an objective. And my scene wasn't even really with him, just wheeling him in on the gurney with David Arquette. Weird degree of separation with David Arquette. His sister Rosanna moved to Jersey for a short time and attended my junior high, so I knew her from when we were kids. But Never Die Alone. Do the movie, it comes out. I mean, it was low budget. Mike Ely, that's what jumps him off a lot too. And I do the movie, and it comes out, and Ernest calls me. My grandmother had passed during this time, right between the time the movie we wrapped and it came out, and it was premiering at Sundance. And Ernest calls me and said, Eric, Los Angeles Times reviewed you. They gave you a mention in the review. He said they shitted on the movie, but they gave you and Mike Ely a good review. I wanted to go to Sundance, but I wasn't feeling it with the loss of my grandmother. But it was something to be in that movie, and I always, I was hurt by X that he had to go through so much pain towards the end of his life. You really wanted that brother to win. He went through so many challenges, and what he shared about his life growing up. He was a brother that was trying to be a good man and trying to deal with what he had to deal with. And it's a shame that, some of the things happened for him,
That's cool.
Rest in peace, DMX.
Yes. Yeah.
One thing I liked about Never Die Alone is that it was a faithful adaptation of Donald Goines' book.
Mm-hmm.
I reread the book recently,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a couple things have changed, but man, y'all, I'll say a good 90% of that book is in the film. And one thing I liked about the movie was that even though we've had a ton of quote unquote hood gangster movies, it was almost like a European feel to
I was just gonna say it's got a real European vibe
it. It was
feel to it,
almost
right?
like hood version of Melville.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know that Ernest Dickerson told Michael Ealy to watch Les Samurai by Melville. But just the overall use of colors and mood and all that stuff, I say that, out of Juice, I'm not gonna take Juice off the number one spot of Ernest Dickerson, right? But it's Juice, Never Die Alone, and Surviving the Game. And sometimes Bones, but
Bones,
but it's Never Die Alone has a real cool European vibe to it.
Right.
And thanks to Matthew Lebetecki, cinematography and the 16 millimeter and this real dirty, you know what I mean? And then I love the scenes of just DMX driving that Stutz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And talking and he's dictating his life, what he's done. And then David Arquette finds these tapes and how it's told. Yeah. I've always thought that it was really a very real European approach to it.
You know what I would love to do like a double bill for both Deep Cover and Never Die Alone, because I've always felt like a lot of these movies, especially set in Los Angeles, they have this, almost dream.
That Noir. Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
the fact that they're both Larry, not Lawrence, Larry era, Lawrence Fishburne, in Deep Cover and DMX, they're dictating their life throughout this movie. It's like the end is near. Well, not so much Larry Fishburne's character in Deep Cover, but not a happy ending is coming.
There's a foreboding.
Yeah.
I've heard about a foreboding that's there. I would like to see a triple play, right? You take those two, then you pair that with a Devil in the Blue Dress.
Right.
I really like that era, 40s noir movies in LA. You're talking Chinatown. I mean, if we could mention some other movies, the Chinatown vibe, that whole feel, even the movie that Russell Crowe was in, that movie too, which is really
LA Confidential.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That whole, even though it was shitty how they played the black characters, it was very white supremacy perspective. Like the brothers were just the criminals, but
but you know what I liked about LA Confidential is that they kept it real with that.
Yeah.
Unlike Gangster Squad, who tried to make Bill Parker a hero. It was like, wait a minute.
Gangster Squad
with Sean Penn.
Well, that's the one they pushed back. I never saw it because they pushed it back.
Yeah.
When the Gangster trivia, the Gangster Squad trailer is what was playing when the guy shot up the movie theater in Colorado. I think it was in Colorado when Batman was playing, but the people didn't know that it was. They thought it was part of the trailer because there was gunshots in the trailer for Gangster Squad. So immediately when the shooting started happening, a lot of people didn't realize that it was real. They thought they were watching the trailer.
Who was the protagonist in that? Because I think I saw that though. Sean Penn was like the gangster.
Yeah, he played Mickey Cohen.
Right. And who played the like the cop that was pursuing him though? There was
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. Okay, yeah.
But what LA Confidential got right was that the LAPD was racist.
Right.
And Gangster Squad, they tried to make it like black, Mexican. It was like, wait a minute. Bill Parker was a known racist, Whiskey Bill Parker.
Who was that? Was he the police chief of
and
Los
his
Angeles?
his driver was Daryl Gates.
Of course. Wow.
So, they tried to, I'm like, oh, y'all got this wrong. And, and I know, I remember one brother said, yo, man, I can't get with this movie because, he's born and bred in Los Angeles. And I've been around the days of, Parker and seen this movie. I was like, oh no, it was the thumbs down.
Yeah.
So at least LA Confidential kept that aspect right.
Well, here's a film noir that's one of my guilty pleasures. I don't know if anybody likes it besides me. Caught Up. Darren Scott.
I ain't going out like no punk.
Who was in that? Who was caught? I seen that.
Bo King Woodbine.
Bo was my boy. Yeah, I saw that. Bo.
And Cinda Williams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's right. That was a good one. Wow, Caught Up. I see somebody mentioned Cicely Tyson real quick. We got to give a shout out to Miss Cicely Tyson, of course, Jane Kennedy. Jane Kennedy was, she was the prototype. They all were. I mean, you had Jane Kennedy, Pam Grier. I just wanted Diane Carroll movies. Yeah, I'm with Miss Diane Carroll. Who? But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to some of those people. I saw some of these folks mentioned.
Yeah, no, we're over our time period.
Okay.
We're supposed
That's all right. I mean,
you're cool, chilling. Okay,
I'm cool, man. I got a little bit more time.
Well, while we're here, let people know where people can find you guys on social media, just so we can.
Mm-hmm. Want to take it away, Eric?
Go ahead, Vashawn. Go ahead.
Oh man, you can find me at Vashawn Quinones on IG or on Facebook, or you can go to that podcast, Viewer Discretion Advised, which is mine, with me and my brother Fully Love, man. We're on IG, so I have 2 pages. So it's Vashawn Quinones, as you see up here, or Viewer Discretion Advised podcast. You can find me there. And I want Eric on the show. And and also I need my brother Ernest Dickerson, because I was tearing him up on that live IG. He was like, who is this dude on my live feed that's asking me all these questions? It's me. I mean, hey, I got it in on him. I said, weren't you supposed to direct 7? What's your top 5? Oh, he was like, the young lady he was with, she's like, Ernest, you want to take it away? Because this gentleman asked about like machine gun, fire questions. So I need him on the show. I need to talk to that brother. I met Spike. I met Monty, you. So I'm going down the Spike Lee list.
Okay.
So
when was this live? When was this IG live?
It was last Saturday, because he has a movie, Double Play.
Yeah.
Oh, it's finally coming out?
Yeah, it's on every major platform right now. Vudu, Amazon Prime.
That was the one they shot overseas.
Yeah, correct. They were in where were they? In Curacao? I don't know where they were, some island, but I remember when he went and they went to work on that for a minute. Yeah, he actually brought up the idea to cast Brad Pitt in 7.
Yep.
If I'm sure he said that too. He told me that before.
Yep.
But good.
I know one thing.
Car wash, yeah, absolutely.
I see Ernest Dickerson's DNA all over Blade, though. Because I know, one, he loves martial arts. He loves horror.
Horror is his genre, right?
Yeah, Tales from the Dark Side, you name it. Right?
Demon Knight.
No, he worked as DP on Tales from the Dark Side.
Right.
And I have to say that it also dealt with racism in a very smooth way. But the first Blade, not so much the second. And I said, oh man, like I could see Wesley and Ernest working together on that screen, but not so much David Goyer. Like he may have brought all the action beats, but the meat of the film feels like Ernest.
Oh yeah, well, him and Wes definitely would have gotten together. Having worked together before in the past, on Mo Better Blues and stuff like that. Yeah.
But so he was attached at one point, you feel, or
all the look, if you remember, like, and I'm not a comic book head, but if you look at Blade, the comic character looks nothing like what Wesley Snipes did.
Right.
All that flavor that you see, that's Ernest.
Okay.
The cape, the sword, and I said, oh man, I got on a podcast.
I don't think. Do you saying Ernest shot Blade?
No. The screenplay. But all of the the character development of Blade, I can tell that Ernest's fingerprints was all over that.
Okay.
DNA.
Was he was a writer of the screenplay or one of the contributors to the screenplay? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he was even supposed to direct before Stephen Norrington got on.
I see.
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's something I never knew. Wow.
Yeah, so I never knew that about Blade, but I know that definitely is an exact description of the type of genres that he likes to work in. You know,
that's cool. Well, Vashon, one question for me.
Yes, sir.
Who killed Ronnie Ray? Why?
Vic Ferrante. And come on. Why do I defend Tougher Than Leather?
Yeah. Why would you have that poster on your wall?
I never saw Tougher
First of all, let me explain something to you.
It's a student film.
Listen.
Done by Rick Rubin.
Which is crazy because Spike was offered that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He turned it down. So smart for him. But the reason why I defend Tougher Than Leather is because movies I enjoy, the New Jack Cities, the King of New Yorks, and all that stuff. This is in the DNA. There was no hip hop gangster movie before that.
Right.
This came out, 88, 89?
Yeah.
As bad as it is, I just don't think there was any type of blueprint or template laid that Rick Rubin or anyone involved could say, okay, I know what to do with this. Now you got New Jack City, Superfly remake, you got Power, all these movies that hip hop gangster genre.
Oh yeah, paved the way.
To do it. But back in 88, it was kind of shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
So I always say that it's not a great movie, but if you want to see,
it was a pioneer of the genre.
Right, if it's a pioneer of the genre, if you want to see a slice of Latin quarters, late 80s, 89 hip hop.
Yep.
This is the movie to watch. It's a midnight roll up dro, drink some stuff, drink this, any type of booze you want, and have a good laugh. Okay. I always look at it like this: if Crush Groove is Run DMC's Lady Sings the Blues, this is their Mahogany.
Mahogany is good. I like Mahogany.
Okay, it was like it was aiming a little too high, but but it's in the DNA of the hood movie, of the hood genre.
Let's talk about while we're talking about that. How does that compare to? Well, it doesn't really compare to prior Beat Street. I saw someone mention Beat Street, which that holds a special place in my heart because it depicts that lifestyle a little bit in New York and the Bronx at the time when the beginning of hip hop and stuff like that. Guy Davis is a friend of mine.
Right.
But yeah,
Beat Street by Temptation too.
Was in what?
He was in Death by Temptation.
That's right. I haven't seen that in a long time. Death by Temptation. And there's another one. Someone talked about The Learning Tree. Classic.
That is a classic.
No, what were you saying about Beat Street though?
No, I'm just saying that that's way back then. That was the beginnings of hip hop and rap and stuff like that, and breakdancing. That was the Beat Street breakdown. Yeah, right in the subway.
The man stopped.
Come Max, not rapping, not so much, Max. I guess. Let me tell you about rapping. Real quick. Kadeem's in that, right? Kadeem, that's where Kadeem and Eric LaSalle know each other from. Mm-hmm. And so Kadeem had an opportunity. Was it? No, it wasn't to do rapping. Eric LaSalle had an opportunity. Spike wanted him to play Greer Childs, and She's Gotta Have It. Right. And Eric was already booked to do rapping. So, him and Spike, they weren't the best of friends. But Eric was like, well, rapping, I was getting paid. He was. It was. I guess it was a SAG movie, but you look at the two, and rapping, and She's Gotta Have It, and we see what happened.
But what's crazy about rapping is that my dad shot Breaking 1 and 2 with Canon Films. Mm-hmm. The first one was Joel Silberg. The second one was Sam Furstenberg.
Yeah.
Rapping was by Joel Silberg.
Oh
Joe
yeah.
Silver.
So it fits into. So rapping is kind of like the unofficial Breaking 3.
Right.
And they even tried to make Mario kind of look, very
similar,
Shabadoo-ish.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So
that's my wish. If when Real Black has a video label, I guarantee that we're gonna make all the episodes of Sunny Spoon available on Blu-ray.
Hey man, I was watching Sunny Spoon. Mario brother had a TV series. Wasn't mad at him. Just like I was watching Action Jackson. I admit it.
Action Jackson is the shit.
Well, Sunny Spoon was like a Beverly Hills Cop ripoff. I
mean, hey, and why not?
Did he play the Spoons too? Did he have the little deal?
Did he do a little something?
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I see someone mentioning Mahogany there. Classic. And ladies of course. Yeah.
No disrespect to Mahogany, but Tougher Than Leather was it.
What happened?
No disrespect to Mahogany, but Tougher Than Leather was.
You gonna ride with that, huh? You gonna
ride with
Leather.
I have to talk to you offline about something I'm working on in relation to this. It seems like you have some insights, so I'll talk to you, Vashawn. I'll give you a call after this.
Okay, cool.
Trash. But Evil Dave Chappelle would. I'm reading some of Max.
I'm trying to catch up with you.
Max Prime said Bo King was the Evil Dave Chappelle Woodbine. So what you saying? He's like Dave Chappelle's evil twin. Bo's a good brother. He's a good brother,
You're going way back. I'm not saying.
But you know what's crazy? Like, I got a friend of mine. She loves some Bo King Woodbine. She's like, yeah, I love his bad acting too. So I said, if we ever did an episode of our show, man, we're gonna have a Bo King Woodbine like section, and she's invited. She goes, I'm with it. I'm with it. You know what
I mean, a dead president,
Oh,
yeah.
He stepped his game up.
Yeah. And the Tate brothers, my boy Lorenz Tate and his brothers LaRon, and oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble now. But his brother and Lamar Tate, the Tate brothers, and Chris, that was early. My company Drop Squad, we did the electronic press kit, the EPK for dead presidents. So that's where I met Chris Tucker, early Chris Tucker. Why am I having all these fucking senior moments? Excuse me, Terrence Howard back then. And that's when I could tell Terrence Howard really came from that pimp shit, because the way he played that character, or he had been around, to know what time it is. That just if you ever see anybody watch Dead Presidents again, Terrence is really good in that. He makes a real impression.
Dead Presidents is the joint.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Thank you, Mike D, for putting that Laserdisc EPK out there.
Oh yeah. That's right. I gotta get the rest for you. I dropped the ball on that. But yeah, Dead Presidents is a classic. I mean, there's a whole subgenre of black action films, and then straight to video black action films. I think is really interesting to look back at.
But speaking of Mario, I may not be a huge fan of everything that he makes, but let me tell you something. Full Eclipse, I enjoyed.
Really?
As far as straight to video action movies, oh yeah, that was top notch for me.
Fully
and he worked with one of the best.
It's a vampire. It's just like a monster on the cover, right?
It's X-Men cops, basically. It has a cool concept. It's these vigilante cops. They're injected with werewolf blood.
Okay.
And so they're going around taking out crime syndicates in Los Angeles. And I said, that's a fucking dope idea. And it was, and it's also too, like, in the B movie genre, there's, you have Anthony Hickox, who doesn't get a lot of love. You have Russell Mulcahy, who doesn't get a lot of love. Louis Moreau, who did another movie with Tyrone Turner called Soldier Boys. Yeah, it's Menace to Society meets Dirty Dozen, so it's Dirty to Society.
Mario really you know, he produces and directs a lot of his own stuff. You know, he's took the lessons from his father to become his own entity. You know, to not wait for anybody to give him roles, and you got to give him props. You know, he's really made his own career.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Right. Baton Rouge, Dolo. I don't know what that is, but
it's for people. I asked for a roll call.
Oh, okay.
So we're getting a little roll call in. Somebody's a big 90s comedy fan, 90s fan. Yes, thanks. Major Payne, Love Jones. We didn't even mention Love Jones.
Yeah, Love Jones.
We knew that was going to come up.
Yeah, that's got his own classic. How high? I'm not mad. Love Jones classic. That goes on the classic black film list.
Yeah,
Did you guys get the Criterion yet for Love Jones?
I do have. Wait, do I have it? Ted Victor. Do I have it? I don't know if I have it. When did it come out? Like a few months ago?
I believe so. I have to check.
Then I have it. I'm behind right now because I'm on a budget now, so I can't. I have to wait for the sale.
Okay.
I have to wait for the sale.
I recently saw Bucktown. Poop Stain Hot Dog 1. Wow, that's an interesting username, but right on. Work with that. Just thought I was the only one.
Oh no, Maximus Prime, yeah. Full Eclipse, man. I used to hit that HBO. You know, HBO had some pretty good movies
back in the day, right?
Yeah,
that they were pulling cable movies, a good cable watch.
Strapped was one. Okay. Ricochet with Denzel.
Yeah. Early, that was early.
Yeah.
Oh, now you got me wanting to watch some movies tonight.
And Russell Crowe was in Ricochet too, right? Wasn't that the one?
Mm-hmm. No.
That's he was in Virtuosity. Oh wait, we won't mention Virtuosity.
But Ricochet is Ice-T, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what's crazy about Ricochet? If I'm not mistaken, it was originally supposed to be a Dirty Harry movie.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's set up like one.
Yeah. That seems like it could be something like that. Well, a lot of those joints, I forget a lot of those movies, man. Ricochet, that was a good one too.
Yeah. A lot of people forgot about that one. It's kind of like when it's like, oh, I forgot Denzel, tried his hand action at one point.
Action and pre, was he kind of gangster now? Or Ricochet was when he was in The Lawyer, right?
Yeah, they were, Denzel was kind of just, a really regal dude. It's like, now we know Denzel's being down and dirty.
Traded there, yeah.
Back then, it was like, okay, well, we don't want to make Denzel too dirty, so we'll make him a lawyer. He's a family man, but then we'll try to blend the popular hood genre movie action hip hop stuff in there. You know what I mean? But I think it was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. I agree. Dr. H. Denzel should have gotten an Oscar for Malcolm X, but you know how it is.
Yeah. Well, Sam got one this year.
Honorary one. Yeah, but he deserves it. I mean, he's got he's one of the most prolific actors and has been in the most movies in the 90s, something like that. He's got that distinction.
It's a shame. It's a shame no one will remember the Oscar winners from 2021, 2022. It's like, what won? What won that year?
Or they'll remember it associated with the slap, as I saw some news agencies bill it. Come back, Charleston Blue. Yeah. Gravedigger Jones and Coffin Ed Robbins, right?
AKA American Gangster before American Gangster. It was loosely based on
Come Back Charleston Blue.
Well, it was based on the books by I can't think of my man's name.
Chester Himes.
Chester Himes. But from what I read, the writers were taking, situations from the newspaper at the time about the whole, heroin being shipped through the coffins and Frank Lucas, Country Boys, and all that stuff. So that got fused into there too. And to Come Back Charleston Blue. In fact, if you look, what's the actor's name? He had a trip. It was a Peter or something, was it? God,
Peter DeAndre,
something like that. He's wearing the mink coat with the Gale.
I always remember that being the scene, the guy running with the mink coat down the street. You know, I don't even really remember that movie all the way. I more remember Cotton Comes to Harlem. You know, I like to see those characters redone. You know, Gravedigger Jones, Coffin Ed Robbins. Those are really two good characters.
Yeah, they should.
Absolutely.
You know, was another good movie like that. A little bit Norrish was The Devil in a Blue Dress. Well, not Devil in a Blue Dress.
Rage in Harlem.
Rage, yes, thank you, Sean. You're right there. We're right there, brother. Rage in Harlem. Yep. That's really good in that.
Pop Goes the Weasel.
Pop Goes the Weasel.
Weasel.
Pop Go the Weasel. Yes, sir. You know, that was a good one. You died.
What's your earliest movie memory, black or white? Vashon, what's your earliest movie memory?
Black or white? My earliest. It's kind of a combination. Well, for one, Select TV was real big.
Okay, so you started.
So you know, my first. So it was like, okay, my dad, you know, he gravitated to the Warriors.
The Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, he loved, you know, of course, Superman 1. Then he would look, you know, he would watch a lot of MGM musicals. You know, he's real big on Bob Fosse. But as you know, watching movies on my own, you know, of course, you know, whatever that was popular, Indiana, Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, Superman, and all that stuff, right? So anything that was coming out of you know, Hollywood or studios, I was watching. But then when I found out about this thing called guns, Dirty Harry, Charles Bronson, and after that, it was just like, oh wow, man, oh yeah, I could. Before they were called action movies, they were called shoot 'em ups.
Shoot 'em ups.
Yeah, oh wow, man, I'm watching this shoot 'em up flick.
That's right.
So Mr. Majestic and you know, Death Wish 1, 2, and all that stuff, man, was getting watched. 10 to Midnight.
10 to Midnight.
You know, this is on VCR or
no? 10 to Midnight was on. I went to see that when it hit video, but like, what's Charles Bronson? You know, Clint Eastwood. I would watch on screen. I'm trying to think of which one though.
Sudden Impact.
Tightrope. I remember seeing Witness on screen.
Okay, 80. So 81 is like your
around that time
is your awakening to movies in theaters.
Yeah,
same thing for me. I saw movies as a kid, but I didn't really start getting into movies until 81, 82.
Right.
Trading Places.
Right.
Caddyshack, that kind of stuff was drawing my attention. I had no interest in, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I went to see it, but I was like, yeah, all right, it's fun, you know, but it didn't capture my imagination the same way some of the comedies coming from the National Lampoon did, reading Mad Magazine and all that kind of stuff. That was the humor at the time. But like I said, I grew up in the middle of a drought. There were no black movies, you know. We had Different Strokes. We had
all the black presidents.
Webster, you know, so sort of like
shifted to TV, the black presence.
Exactly, you know, so it wasn't until She's Gotta Have It and Hollywood Shuffle that I became really aware that black people were making movies, you know.
Well, you know what? That's interesting because, and this is not a knock towards Spike, but I think that Michael Schultz don't get a love.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, not at all.
He was working. I mean,
he just goes to table book.
Yeah, I mean, he had Crush Groove out in '85. You know, there were movies that were coming out with black people in them, but they weren't like, you know, any type of commentary or anything like that. They were just, you know Purple Rain and, you know, break dance movies. And then, you know, later, here comes Eddie Murphy kicking down the door with, you know, 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop.
Well, you had one every 10 years or one every year, maybe, like a Soldier Story or Color Purple, where they take all the actors
ensemble,
sort of like they did with Roots, and they put everybody in the same movie. That was on the way up or on the way down.
So you have to watch it.
You know what? And I love A Soldier Story.
Yeah,
that's great. And I used to watch that as a kid, and that was a heavy movie.
Yeah.
And I used to recite a lot of, Sergeant Waters,
Oh yeah.
dialogue.
You got Adolf Caesar had that voice.
Yeah, Wilkie.
Okay, man, okay. What are you in the backwoods? Nothing but that's from another movie.
Right. And it was such a heavy movie. You know what I mean? And I remember, my mother used to be like, yo, you watching this grown movie. Even though it was like PG, but it was still grown in terms of themes. You Sergeant Waters, he had his issues with his own people. It was wild, right? So I used to sit there and watch it like, yo, this movie is fucking fantastic.
Right.
Denzel Washington still kills it.
Right. I mean, it had a great cast. David Allen Greer.
Yep.
Robert Townsend.
But really, Robert Townsend. We need to talk about Howard Rollins and how they were positioning him to be what Denzel really was. Howard Rollins being the heartthrob, but being a gay man. And at that time, that wasn't. It was really, the sexism or the gender bias, I guess. But they were really positioning Howard Rollins to be, the leading man character. I mean, go back to Ragtime, right?
Love Ragtime.
Yeah.
But you know what? I know a lot of people always like to cite that Sam Jackson is the hardest working man. We can't forget Art Evans.
Art, my man, Art. Hey, let me tell you a story, Vashad, right? We're doing school days. Anybody that watches School Days, right?
Yeah.
Watch the scene where Ozzie Davis is giving the pep talk to the football team, right? Because, of course, we went to the set. I had the day off, but, Ozzie Davis is on set. So everybody's rolling the set to watch Mr. Ozzie work, right? So watching him give the scene, and in the scene, there's one of the players who's got a towel over his head. He's sitting there, and I was like, damn, why is that extra not even looking up to the coach, right? Spike says, run through the scene. Spike yells, cut. The guy gets off and takes the towel off. It's Art. Art just wanted to get dressed up in the football uniform and be in the scene. And so Spike made her have a towel over his head, just sit there.
That's funny.
It was the funniest thing. I'm like, Art extra doing this, and he gets off, takes the towel off. His Art Evans.
The first time I saw Art was in my guilty pleasure movie of all time, which is Tough Turf. He plays the he's the only black person in the whole movie. He plays the school police officer.
That brother's been working for a long. He's one of them pioneer brothers. He told me a story about being a soldier story, right? Because he's not from New York.
So he wasn't Soldier Story. I'm sorry. Yeah,
right.
I saw him
in Youngblood.
But they wouldn't give him an audition. The Negro Ensemble Company said they would never hire him or whatever. He couldn't crack that nut. And he said it kind of felt like he was, getting his just due being cast in the movie that originated at the Negro based on the play that originated at the Negro Ensemble, written by my man Charles Fuller, right? I believe Charlie Fuller wrote that. Good brother.
From Philly.
Yep. Yeah, I had a chance to be acquainted with him back in the day. It was a good brother, So just like my boy Richard Wesley, can't leave him out, who wrote Uptown Saturday Night and Let's Do It Again, and a very prominent playwright back in the day.
Right.
Wait, hang on. Now, the minute it pops up, when Heart Condition, what's the one where Denzel was a ghost?
Really?
Heart Condition.
Heart Condition.
With Bob Hoskins.
Oh, and he goes into his body, and
he takes it over his heart or something.
Try to make him into being like Eddie Murphy-ish back then at that part of the career, I thought,
Magical Negro, yeah.
And Carbon Copy too with
George Segal.
That's the first movie, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
To Sir With Love, saw that, that was one of the movies I watched in high school that the teacher shows you in English class. I don't know. I know you guys probably felt the same way. Vashawn, you're a little bit younger, but we didn't have any heroes back then. And Mr. Sidney, the way he came off and refused to take roles that were undignified for black people, really, set
like
the
Porgy and Bess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one that,
Yeah,
People really didn't
no,
like
actually, yeah, he was. Didn't he? If I'm not mistaken, he didn't want to do Porgy and Bess, right?
Right.
No,
He didn't want to do that character, you know.
Yeah, I've heard two different stories about it. We just finished the documentary about the significance of Sidney Poitier. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it yet, Vashon. It should have been in your perks, your Patreon perk.
I mean,
advanced premium.
hey, Mike drops so much content; it's hard to keep up. It's like, oh, that's on there too. That's on there.
Well, we got to slow down. We're slowing down. We're doing this now, you know. And hopefully you're enjoying the show. You get to be on the show.
Absolutely,
Patreon supporter.
Absolutely.
But you know, so but yeah, I've heard two different stories. Like some people were like, nobody, like they approached Harry Belafonte first. He didn't want to do it, and because it was demeaning, he's playing a stereotypical role. But then when you read the Sidney Poitier's biography, it says like he wanted to do it, but he wanted certain conditions placed on it, and basically he was given an offer he couldn't refuse. Like if he refused to do the movie, his career would be tanked. He'd have no other options to make movies. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I've heard mixed things. Like he didn't want to do it, and they threatened him. And then I've heard he did want to do it, but they threatened him. You know. So, sort of time out. Like he wanted, I guess, final cut, and he's like, "No, you don't get final cut. You don't have any say on what this how this is going to come out. You know, Premiere has that kind of thing. So you know, I don't know, but yeah, Porgy and Bess didn't. No one. That's hard to find. I'm surprised. I guess it's a crappy copy on. Oh, this is a funny. This is all right. This has got go back and change history. Black Time Machine movies where people go back and change history. We're still running away from history.
That's a great question, JJ. There was a movie with remember Phil Lewis, the actor Phil Lewis.
Oh yeah, Brother Future.
Is that?
It was like a kid special.
Okay, and
he's a b-boy and he goes back in time.
Right. And he's a slave. He goes back to slavery, right? Yeah. But
yeah,
that would be an interesting concept. Even now, I mean, that's probably the only one you've seen. Well, what's that thing that Janelle Monáe was doing, where her character goes back into Antebellum?
Oh, I hated that movie. That movie was so misleading.
Oh well, you know, let me just tell you right now, don't go see Alice then.
Same kind of thing. Well, I paid $20 for Antebellum. I paid extra for that. So Alice is kind of the same thing.
Man, let me tell you something.
They're all sort of Get Out influence movies.
It's a bait and switch, because when you watch the trailer, you thinking this movie's gonna have some get back, No, she shoots. I don't want to ruin it for those.
Well, don't ruin it. I want to see it.
But yeah, but it was like, what? You know, I sat through an hour and 30 minutes of, you know, all this drama. Is, you know, it's very slow at first.
She goes back in history?
Well, no, it's like in the present. She doesn't know that it's 1970s. You know, many of the slaves kind of feel something that's going on, because there's a lot of, you know, quote unquote modern day things that they had never seen before, like the Zippo and, you know, the lighter and things like that. And slave masters walking from the plantation, you know, off of the sun and bringing them back. And like, well, you know, you don't see no horses or anything, you know. So anyway, what happens is, you know, when she leaves the plantation, she's picked up by Common. Now, I'm not I know Common gets beat up a lot. But that brother there, you know, sometimes acting a little wooden, and, you know, and it was like, and so when you finally get to the revenge aspect of it, it's like, oh wow.
So this white people made this.
Absolutely. Totally.
Oh, this just came out. Okay. 2022.
Sounds like
a little commercial.
It played at Sundance. It was at Sundance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, when you see this, you're thinking like, oh, okay, she goes to this movie theater and she watches these, you know, Pam Grier and Shaft and all stuff. And so she is plotting this revenge plot. At least that's what I thought I was going to get towards the end.
Right.
But, you know, nope, not it. Not it.
From Kristen Verlinden.
That should tell you all that right there. That should tell you.
It's her first film.
That was her first film. Hey, what you gonna do, man? You know?
Yeah.
Now there's a horror movie. It's bad, but at least it got to the revenge like that. I can't think of it. It was a horror movie. It's on Prime now. I think it's like either Death Ranch or something.
It's somebody told me about that one. Yeah,
it's really low budget, but boy, it's shooting and chopping up, and they get to it.
Really?
They don't waste no time in that 85 minutes worth of movie.
Is it called Death Ranch?
Death Ranch, something, yeah.
I'm seeing Mrs. Matthews on the chat say something about that a documentary about the movie that Calvin Lockhart did that he played a principal. I just watched.
Halls of Anger.
Halls of Anger. That's you, right, Mike? Did you put that up, or was it on?
No, that's MGM has it, so we don't play with it.
Well, I watched it on YouTube, and it's interesting that you're saying that, Mrs. Matthews, because I didn't know you're saying he protested against the writers. Oh, because that's right, they were busing, right? They bust white kids into the black school in the hood, and they were supposed to get picked on, and that's why he was protesting.
Yeah, there's a great article in either Life magazine or one of those things about the making of Halls of Anger. They talked to Calvin Lockhart, and there was a rebellion.
Oh, really?
Because the actors were all coming from this writers' workshop, the Watts Writers' Workshop, and they were trying to take control of the movie and the story and give agency to the characters that they were playing, and they were constantly being told no by the director. So there was a lot of friction on that set. It's true.
A lot of early Dwayne, Jesse, Bo Bridges.
Dwayne, Jesse.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yes. Well, it's
another brother who works.
We know him better as Otis Day.
Otis Day.
He changed his name. You can't find Dwayne Jesse anymore. You got to find Otis Day. That's how crazy it is. He took the name from.
And he does a little thing. He was
Animal House.
Animal House came out when I graduated high school,
and
I went to see Animal House. I was like, college is going to be great. I was a big James Belushi fan. I mean, John Belushi fan back in the day. That was my man.
Someone just brought up Enemy Territory. That's Ernest Dickerson too.
Yes.
Is that?
Yep.
Enemy Territory. Was that with what was that? Lou Gossett?
Ray Parker Jr.
Ray Parker Jr. and
they were in the hood. They were Was that the
project? They're electricians, electric company. They go to check a thing, and it's like you got to be out before it gets dark.
Right.
And it becomes but Stacey Dash is in there as young Stacey Dash. We had it on the channel for a while. I love that movie.
Now, if anyone who needs to be drop squad is Stacey Dash.
yeah. Now that would be a coup if you can get Stacey Dash to me. She might think it's a drama.
I met her a long time ago. She was married to my buddy Christopher Williams, I think, for a short time, or they were boyfriend, at least boyfriend and girlfriend. I actually was out in LA and met Chris. He was out there with her. What's the apartments that they rent out to everybody? Oakwood apartments out there, Vashana, and Kadeem, Eric, who was staying in Oakwood? I think Eric LaSalle was staying in the Oakwood apartment when he was doing ER or Coming to America, right? Kadeem is doing Different World. We were all hanging out with Eric LaSalle, and that's how we meet Chris in the little a billiard or game room at this apartment complex, and he was out there when Stacey was doing that movie with Richard Pryor. She played, was it Moving? Yeah, playing Richard Pryor's daughter. Right. And so I met her too at the time, and she was cool back in the day. Obviously, that was before.
Yeah,
the Republican
politics
leanings and politics and stuff like that. But
yeah, more power to her. I still have that copy of what was that magazine? I'm
what magazine?
like I can see it now. Stacey Dash was on the cover of this magazine. I have to pull it out. That could be a that could be a book to get the it's sort of like the black version of Maxim. I forget what's the name of that magazine.
Is it King magazine?
King magazine. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, I still have Stacey Dash's King magazine.
King magazine was rolling for a minute. They was holding it down.
Yeah.
You know,
we ship to prisons.
Hey,
nothing wrong with it. The big business. Are they still around?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
The last King magazine that I seen was had Belly in it.
Oh gosh.
They did a
spread on Belly.
Yeah, like kind of a what went wrong piece.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have to find that.
Alicia, we already Alicia Little. We already mentioned Howard Rollins.
Right.
But thanks for reminding us. Someone and poop stain hot dog, bro. Like your name, but Woody Strode, yeah. Woody Strode, Sergeant Rutledge.
That's classic.
Was a classic movie. I'd like to see a remake with that, right? He's got that great monologue where he talks about, you're not letting me be a man and all that other stuff. Really, I thought it was really ahead of its time, that movie, for the way they were dealing with it. But
Charles feels differently about that movie. He felt it should have been more heroic, Buffalo Soldier, not a character accused of rape. But
right.
But for its time, it's very groundbreaking.
Right. That's that's what I was considering the context of when they produced it and actually let him say some of the stuff he said in that monologue. And and that day America was I'm sure they were on the outside, of the mainstream, certainly. But Woody Strode, he kicked down some doors. He was kind of in the in the Paul Robeson era, right? Wasn't he a athlete scholar as well? Yeah. Woody Strode.
Yeah, he was UCLA guy. Yeah,
yeah.
There's a documentary about that too. I forget what it's called. It's about the UCLA football team and how the first players in the NFL were from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Woody was one of those football players. So,
yeah.
Okay, Woody Strode and Black Jesus. I haven't watched Black Jesus yet.
Black Jesus, really? I'm going to check that out.
That's hard to. It's hard to find a good copy of that, so I haven't been watching it. But all right, we're at the 2-hour mark. I think we should.
William Marshall, Blackula, very good. He was also, I think, trained as an opera singer. Alicia, I believe. He came to my school, Hampton, and spoke to us a little bit. But yeah, William Marshall.
Oh, William Marshall's great in a movie called Lydia Bailey. He plays a King Dick, who is it's like a Haitian rebellion film. So, prior somebody asked about
what year is that? Is Sydney in that movie too?
I don't think so, but it's around that time. Lydia Bailey is like 59, I think, or 40. Let me just look it up.
That they were going to have a rebellion, and I think William Marshall was in it, and
52 for Lydia Bailey. Yeah, we have that, and that's the movie Something of Value about the Mau Mau's.
Right.
William Marshall.
Right. That was Richard Brooks,
right?
That was Richard Brooks?
Yes, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we featured that in the Sidney Poitier documentary that we just did. So, so we have a scene from there.
Brewster's Millions was one of the last. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, we can go down the chat real fast, and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on movies? Favorite movies? I see the chat's moving pretty well, but
I was just going to say, I see Judah mentioned Brewster's Millions. That was kind of like, to me, and man, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but one of Rich's last, I thought Brewster's Millions was funny, but maybe because I'm just going to always, forever, for my era, be a Richard Pryor fan. So whenever Rich would appear, period. And let's not forget about Which Way Is Up.
Oh, Which Way Is Up is a classic. No, I put Brewster's Millions around the same time as Critical Condition.
Yeah.
I think
not quite as bad as Critical, a little better than Critical Condition.
anything after anything he does after the fire, he just doesn't have the spark.
Well, Brewster's Millions. That's what I said.
Why you say that doesn't have the spark?
Spark.
Oh,
All right, no pun intended.
This guy here.
No, but yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with. It was like Richard became.
Oh, the toy, yeah.
That's the toy. Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah,
couldn't you see the
shadow
couldn't
of
you
his
see that
former
coming?
self?
Yeah,
basically.
Well, the toy, I mean, it's just he basically plays a slave. It's very demeaning.
Yeah. Didn't like the toy. I like Brewster's Millions,
but it's based on a French movie where race isn't an issue. So it's sort of like, do you let the guy make the movie as an homage to like a French comedy and show off his physical comedy skills, or do you just look at it for what it is, as a rich guy buying a black guy to be his son's toy? Yeah. I don't know if it works in an American context, but
or maybe just to deal with that, include that into the storyline, and there's probably some humorous mileage they could have gotten out of. Yeah, it is hard to watch when you get a little bit more aware.
But you know what else was hard to watch? Was Superman 3. That was a hard watch.
Oh yeah, Rich.
And that was like, wow, Richard Pryor is in Superman. Like,
just taking the checks.
Yep. Yeah.
And did he talk himself into that though? He talked himself into that role.
Oh, he fought to be in it? Well,
yeah.
He was a top box office star. Why not put him in? I mean, this is before superhero movies became serious stuff, So by the time they got to Superman 3, it was a joke already,
Yeah.
But it was pretty painful.
Yeah,
almost up there with Eddie Murphy in Best Defense.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, Eddie, everybody's heard Eddie talk about that. He said, "Yeah, I went for the check. Went for the check with that bullshit." Skin Game, Judah, Skin Game. What Lou Gossett and James Garner, wasn't that?
Yeah.
That actually, that's another one, a little bit ahead of its time for what they were dealing with and where the country was at that time, right?
Right.
It's a good movie, but it's painful.
What he's got to.
I mean, just the whole premise is like, why would you make a movie like this? But it's about a guy. It's a con artist team where Lou Gossett basically gets caught as a runaway slave, sells himself into slavery. Then they James Garner fights to free him out, and then they play the same con in another town, like to collect the reward money or whatever. But it's just like, ouch. I think it's the same. I think it's the same director as Halls of Anger.
Really? So he was just pissing all the black people off, all the black artists.
Paul Bogart. Well, Paul Bogart is considered a great comedy director. He directed a lot of All in the Family episodes, but he did not have much of a career in.
Hold on. How we kind of light with the knowledge, Lisa? We're being kind of light, respectfully. We're light with the knowledge. Okay. All right. Thanks for your opinion.
We're light with the knowledge.
That's deep. Okay, I thought we was
all. Somebody wants some hard.
William Marshall is from Blackula. We know that he's done a lot of other stuff. Okay.
Speaking of Lou Gossett Jr., do you guys remember The Guardian?
Yeah. The HBO movie. I've never seen it. I think we had it on the channel for a minute.
Yeah, that movie was awesome.
People love it. People love it. It's an HBO movie.
Yeah,
because it's in the vein of Death Wish and all these vigilante movies, but you really don't see a black man in a vigilante style role where he's like, he's not just playing defense; he's going after them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's protecting that apartment somewhere like in New York.
Right.
And Martin Sheen is like, he's bad. He's a bad influence, and da 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 da. And I think that's one.
Was that a feature? That was a feature. The Guardian, or was it a TV?
I think it might have been TV.
HBO movie.
Right.
But then the part where Martin Sheen tries to go find Lou Gossett at the end, and he's surrounded by the gang. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Lou Gossett was just like, "Yo, man, you know, he drops the bags and breaking cats' arms, and it's very underrated, tough guy movie, and almost virtually forgotten."
Right.
You know what I mean? But it shows that that's how powerful Lou Gossett is as an actor, and that's something you don't see is black vigilante movies.
Well, hey, Lou Gossett, man. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie version of The River Niger. He had Lou Gossett and James Earl Jones on screen together. But didn't Lou Gossett get nominated for Enemy Territory? Didn't he get nominated for an Oscar?
Well, he won for Officer and Gentleman.
Gentleman.
Right.
But he was in the makeup. I think
I'm tripping on Enemy Territory, right? That was the one where he played an alien, right?
Alien, yeah.
And was Randy Quaid?
Enemy Mine.
Right.
No.
Thank you.
But he got a lot of respect for how he portrayed it, right? I mean, his acting job within the parameters of it. For some reason, that sticks out of my mind. Maybe not at the time. I don't know. I might just be tripping, but Mr. Gossip is, he's one of the greats.
Yeah.
Fiddler. No
Oscar nomination there for that.
He's also good in, even though he's not the lead, The Laughing Policeman.
Laughing Policeman. I never heard of that one, man.
It's a Walter Matthau movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You going way back for your apparent age, brother. You've been doing your homework. Despite what some people might think about.
I did it. This up true. Is I used to hit the video stores.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like my man. Shout out to my man Fully Love. He says, "Man, movies. My strip club. I trick my money off with the movies."
Me too. I mean, the movie you could go in there, and Surviving Game was 1990. Why are you coming with the aggression, sis? We talked about Surviving the Game extensively. But anyway, Robert Hooks, my boy Robert, Trouble Man. Shit.
Great soundtrack.
I keep plucking Maximus. He's very active in the chat.
Max TK Carter. Hey, TK did his thing in the corner.
Right.
Yeah. Did he or did he not? I mean, he did that series one time where he played a genie calling White Dude Master, but he got forgiven for that.
Yeah,
but
just our luck. Yeah, that's on the channel.
You know what's crazy is that he was in some high-profile gigs. The Thing, Runaway Train.
Yeah, TK, he's good, man.
I talked to TK.
Raging Harlem.
Yeah.
You talked to him?
Raging Harlem. Yeah. Well, he, gave me his condolences on, about my dad, but it was brief. But
yeah, I'm sorry about your father. Your father passed. How long ago was it?
December 29th, 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
He was definitely one of the brothers that was making it happen and contributed to this genre, black entertainment, movies, and dance.
Also, fellow AFI alumni. Like
really?
Ideal here. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to see his film. Did they make it available to you yet, or?
I didn't know they can.
The Psycho Projects.
Yeah, but I worked on all three of them of his movies, and Timok was on one of them.
They're starting to digitize them, I'm told. So, yeah. So I'm trying to get a hold of mine, but
okay,
it's just gonna be a minute. But yeah, talented man, your father.
Yeah.
Oh, so Terry, Trouble Man soundtrack.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
Classic. Yes, that's a whole nother episode. Soundtracks.
Yeah.
We can get into.
Let me ask you, Jim, one last question, and then before
sure.
Yeah.
We gotta get out of here.
What's your passion project, Mike and Eric? Are there any? Is there something like you would like to see that you haven't seen yet? Book adaptations, certain biographies on some.
There was a. Well, yeah, there's a lot of biopics of people I like to see, but I like to see, the Black Western. I liked the Black Westerns I've seen. What was the one that they just did? That was The Harder They Fall. Thought it was dope. I mean, they could have been a little bit more accurate with some of certainly Stagecoach Mary, but there are some great Black characters that have overcome so hard. There's a sister that was the first airline pilot, right? World War II fighter pilot or something like that. I just saw a story about her the other day. But just actual historical Black characters that overcame that you would expect them to be doing, like a feature about Stagecoach Mary, I mean, characters like that, I think would really, we've seen all the other storylines, right? We've seen all, and no disrespect for the dominant culture, but the story's been told from the white male perspective over and over again, and shoot, I've even at one point resorted seeing white female leads, just to give us something different, but none of our stuff, very little of our historical stuff, the incredible history makers, Octavia Butler books. Absolutely.
It's happening. It's happening as we speak.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff I'd like to see, and we've been talking about trying to do some sort of follow-up to Drop Squad if possible,
For me, if I had all the money in the world, I'd love to be a part of either a Sam Cooke or Otis Redding biography. I think those are stories that could be excellent for the big screen, So that's me. If you told them properly. I don't know if Sam Cooke's story will ever be told properly because of the nature of he had a dual nature. If you read the book by Peter Graunik, he had a public image and a private image. I don't know if the people that are licensing his music want the private image to be known.
The private image, the freakiness.
Basically, yeah. I mean, when he was with the Soul Stirrers, he caught like 2 or 3 paternity cases the first year he was on tour. So from that, he decided that it was easier just to pay for sex and not worry about catching a paternity case. And he became like a whoremonger. He would take over whole hotel rooms, whole floors of hotels, and just populate them with women and have parties everywhere they went, all the time being a gospel singer, So the thing that led to his death, while it definitely has its conspiracy angles, why it happened, it could just as well have been, wrong night, but he was known to solicit women of the night. So
wow. So
it
was definitely a meeting at Mary's place for sure.
Now see that you got the evil me thinking, it's like, that's why I wouldn't get hired, because I'd use that song
Saturday night and I ain't got nobody. Sam, that wasn't true.
Exactly.
Rest in peace, Sam.
Yes,
exactly. How about you, Vashawn? Like what?
Well, man, noir is my thing. So I would like to see, for lack of a better word, or something like a Long Good Friday, but black version, maybe done 70s though, because that's one, people don't really know about Black Los Angeles like that. Right. And what's going on? Like, we've seen Harlem, we've seen Chicago and things like that, but like all the stuff that was going on, like
Black Noir.
Yeah, but set in Los Angeles.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Something
that's why I like Devil in the Blue Dress so much. It kind of was. It didn't really go into the black side of life, except when he went to Joppies and all that a little bit, Central Avenue and all that, right?
But I'm talking about like more of Hollywood and
Maverick
Flats and all that during that time. Something like a Black Nice Guys, if that makes sense.
I'm not hip to Nice Guys,
Oh, that was a good movie if you haven't seen it, but something like in that vein, something like that. But yeah, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Vashawn. I'll let you go. And we'll say our goodbyes. Peace.
Good talking to you, brother.
Likewise. Peace, family.
All right.
That was great. He hung out for a while.
Yeah, man.
We definitely took it longer than we wanted to, but the chat was exciting.
Yeah.
And we had some good conversation here. Just reading through some of the stuff real quick. You seem to be either ahead or behind where I'm at.
Well, I'm scrolling back and forth, up and down. I mean, I've got the.
Oh, okay.
Let me go to the most recent
Elisa.
Yeah, what'd you say? And it includes Quentin Tarantino, all the men that played in Hateful Eight. Yeah, Hateful Eight was good. You know, and the monologue. I'm trying to work on the monologue that Sam does from Pulp Fiction, where he tells.
He's gonna roam the earth.
Yeah, like Kane. Yeah,
that's a great monologue.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we got through.
We're gonna have to talk. We'll do a part 2, Mike, of black movies, right? We're gonna do a part
soundtracks. We're gonna have to do a part 2 with soundtracks, and we'll have to get a guest on, like Vashan, who was great.
Yeah,
you know, it's always fun talking to folks and giving them a chance to.
I'm trying,
to
Ringo.
chime in.
I'm trying real hard. Don't y'all get us? Hey, one day we're gonna play a game, and we're just gonna riff on movie lines. You know.
Oh, my memory's gone.
Yeah, my memory's not as good, but some of the things that.
But if we have prizes, would people jump on? Do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. Prizes and good movie lines, and
all right, I gotta get a game together.
Yeah,
I have to get a game together. Okay, well, where can people find you, Eric?
Hey guys, you can check me out on Instagram, Eric Payne _freedom fighter. Also on Facebook, I have actor page, and also on my IMDb. Hit me up a little bit, because the more activity, the more notification I'm getting. Also, with my sister producing a show on YouTube called Off the Beaten Path, where we go. It's kind of like a black version of American Pickers, finding your ass used to be beautiful. Yeah, what's that? That's what that was Jackie Brown, right? All right, don't get me started, y'all. Anyway, that's me. Check me out. Off the Beaten Path on YouTube, and Hackerish Golf, Mike Ralph. So
you're part of the golf thing. We
talked to Mike last week. That's Mike's show, and we want to help him out. Anybody is into the golf.
Hackerish
on YouTube. That's another one. Hackerish and Off the Beaten Path. And you guys better get your Real Black swag. Check it out, y'all. There it is. It's a good logo. It's well-made t-shirt. I would suggest, if you're a fan, check it out.
Okay. That's shop.reelblack.com. Okay. Well, Eric, thank you for the time hanging out. We had a great discussion. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Maximus, I see. Johnny hung out for the majority of the time. Smack it up. Eddie, Alicia. I said Maximus already. Terry.
Hoopstain.
Blake. I feel like you remember that show, Romper Room?
Call everybody out. Yeah,
I see.
I'm that old.
Well, I need a magnifying glass. I see you, Blake.
Out there.
I see you, Donteris. Sergio. Sergio.
Let's go, Mike. We got to go.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Thanks, Mike G.
Okay, thank you. Peace.
Oh, there's Sergio. There was someone there. Hey, Sergio.